Wisconsin will be at the center of this year's election. We'll see presidential candidates, as Will mentioned, visiting the state throughout the course of the year on into November. We'll hear those campaigns try and connect with voters on issues like abortion and immigration. But how do those issues impact Wisconsin voters? We brought that question to our own local Democratic and Republican Party leaders. News 8 in La Crosse caught up with Democratic State Party Chair Ben Wickler in La Crosse.
There are some common values that inform all of us. Voters in western Wisconsin don't want the government coming into their doctor's offices and making private medical decisions for them, whether that's IVF or abortion or birth control questions. They want a government that's actually responsive to the middle class and to workers, not just the super wealthy political donors. Voters in western Wisconsin want a government that makes sure that the water that they drink and the air that they breathe doesn't poison them or their kids, and they want their kids to be safe when they come home from school, and they want to be able to hunt and shoot at targets and use their Second Amendment rights. All those things are core to what the Democratic Party stands for, and it's a common sense approach that I think really there's a difference between that and extremists of any stripe who want to take freedoms away and want to overturn elections. Wisconsin elections come down to 2 or 3 votes per precinct across the state. And that means that having a few extra Dems or a whole bunch of extra Dems in any community across the state of Wisconsin can have an enormous impact on the final tally, whether it's in the 3rd Congressional District House race or state ledge races or the statewide election for Tammy Baldwin or the presidential election. We think every voter has a superpower in 2024.
And for the Republican perspective now, we turn to Brandon Malley, who is the chair of the Republican Party here in Dane County. Brandon, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me on.
So you're here in Dane County. We know it's historically been so strongly Democrat. What importance, how do you kind of reach out to your voters, your party, here in Dane County, which is traditionally such a Democratic stronghold?
Well, I'll tell your listeners that Dane County has the 3rd largest deposit of Republican votes in the state of Wisconsin. Now, I go around the state, I tell Waukesha Republicans that, they laugh at me. And they don't realize, when you crunch the numbers, about 80,000 votes on the Republican side went to President Trump in 2020. And we have data that shows us we're missing out on about another 20 to 30,000 votes. So Dane County historically has been where Republican statewide efforts go to die, and we're looking to reverse the trend on that in 2024.
So how do you do that? How do you get those 20,000? Most of us know who've covered this know there are Republicans here. You just got to dig to find them a little bit and dig to reach them. How do you do that?
There are a lot of Republicans here, especially as you go into the bedroom communities. As you go on the periphery of Dane County, you look at the rural areas, you look at the blue-collar workers. And I think in 2024, you're gonna see a return of some of those suburban voters that went away from the Republican Party in recent years on kitchen table issues like the economy and immigration. Now, election after election, Republicans and Democrats are fighting over the WOW counties, for example. The WOW counties are really, really saturated. The ads, the bodies that they hire to go knock on doors, the mailings. And in Dane County, you only see one perspective most of the time, and Republicans not investing a lot of resources here. Our plan is to make sure that every candidate running for office, whether it be Eric Hovde for the Senate, Trump for the presidency, and all of our locals invest a lot in the Madison media market, in the mailers, and then shift a little bit in strategy. You hear all the time that you have to chase the independents. It's all about whoever wins the independents. Well, Mitt Romney beat Barack Obama with the independents. Mitt Romney didn't turn out the Republican base. There are a lot of demoralized, I call it the demoralization factor. A lot of demoralized Republicans in Dane County that are so beat down by the leftist politics here, they don't realize that their vote makes or breaks statewide elections. So for us, it's really about targeting low propensity Republicans. So it's not a game of persuasion of independents or Joe Biden voters to Trump. It's persuasion to vote. If you're a Republican that voted in 16 but not 20 or 18 but not 22, we're chasing your vote in 2024.
Now, that midterm, maybe some people are disenchanted a bit with former President Trump at times, as maybe some Democrats are disenchanted with President Biden. That's that rerun factor. You know, maybe people are just not really into either of these candidates. How do you fight that in this? And is that reality?
Well, it's all about unity right now on the Republican side. After any given presidential primary, you have to come together. You have to bring the candidates that ran against you back on the team. You have to bring their supporters back on the team and realize that you have to defeat the other side. That's what politics is all about. Now, you've got a 7 to 9% average of voters of a given political party dropping off and not supporting their nominee. Meaning, in 2012, you have Romney and Obama, about 7 to 9% of each party's voters dropped off, didn't support the nominee. You see that in every election. So all of this talk about Donald Trump losing some segment of Nikki Haley voters, yes, he's got some work to do to win them back, but some of them were never going to vote for him anyway and didn't vote for him, frankly, in 2020. I'm proud to say that yesterday, the Republican Party of Dane County became the first county party in Wisconsin to endorse President Trump ahead of the presidential preference primary, now that he's all but the official nominee. So it's all about unity in the next couple of months, and then we've got to build the tent, right? We have to get people that Trump didn't win in 2020, so he wins them in 2024. You've got that margin of 20,000 voters. So we've got the Assembly majority on the line, the Senate majority on the line, the United States Senate majority on the line. You've got a congressional district in the third that could decide the fate of the House, Senate majority, and the presidency, all running through Wisconsin and a national convention and the Supreme Court majority. I mean, it's just everything. And I can tell you that Dane County will never be more important to both sides than it is in this election. So everything we're doing, we have to amplify. Message, social media, digital. Republicans, you have to get on TikTok. Very important. Young voters are on TikTok. This is a very young county. This is a very transient county. Everybody's on TikTok. You have to be on there. I think President Trump gets that. We need people to get that up and down the ballot.
Brandon Malley is going to be a busy man over the next year. Brandon, great to talk to you.
Thank you
really
so much.
Appreciate your time. Brandon Malley, the Dane County Chair of the Republican Party. And when we come back, we'll share all the information you need to take to the voting booth.